Farley.
Excuse me. Schwab, you took so long, I should have got a drink. So no, it was a good day on Saturday. I thought we played very well in all phases of the game again. Had a couple turnovers that didn't allow us to put them away, but you know, we were playing in their senior day there. They had a lot of a good support that day, a good crowd, and they really played hard. So, but the best thing about our football team in the last few weeks is we're playing very hard, and you know, our fourth quarter has really been good in both particular games, and I thought we really played well in this past fourth quarter at South Dakota. So, any questions?
Mark, the way this season's gone, how important is it for this group of seniors to end on a winning note on Saturday?
Well, we've been just going day to day and trying to win November, and right now they're doing that. And probably the biggest difference of earlier in the season to right now is we're lining up with the same football team. This will be the third week in a row. So before that, there was a lot of changing going on, a lot of movement. But this will be the third week in a row that we'll put the same group out there. So our seniors, you know, they're really doing a nice job. I mean, Garrett was at Western Illinois. I think J.J. Swain and Wilmont Wellington really played a great game this past weekend. Wilmont was really good. So, you know, and then Carlos had a lot more carries last weekend. He's trying to do some things with all-purpose yards. And, you know, our three offensive linemen, you can see they're playing very well right now. David Johnson is getting his yards, and I think we rushed for 200 yards the other day. So, you know, we're just going to play the game and play it hard and see what happens.
Xavier Williams blocked another kick on Saturday. The notes have him tying a school record. What is he doing to get in position to make those balls?
Well, Xavier's Xavier's a big man and got a long arm. So when he comes off, we get to push in the middle and he gets his hand up. So really he's doing, Everett Pettisquaw was the last one that probably was like that for us. Real tall, so we put him in the middle. He's got to get the push first, so you can get your hand up and get the trajectory of the ball. But Xavier was very good. And when you look at a football team, when we gauge a football team, we always look at their PAT field goal block team to see what they're like after they get down, how hard are they coming on that block. And you can really gauge the character of a team by watching that sometimes. And he's a great example. I mean, we were coming off the ball hard. Wilmont just missed one and went underneath his armpit. Xavier got one, and it might have rerouted the one that he did miss. That was a big miss at the time when he missed the field goal. So and now you bring it up, probably one of the bigger plays in the game is when they ran the naked keep. It was a close football game. I don't remember the score. It was maybe 14-13 or whatever. But they ran that naked keep down the 20-yard line, and the quarterback was free. We missed him, point blank. And Varma made he stayed on the receiver to keep him from scoring. And we had three guys who actually tackled the ball carrier without the ball, the fake, and got up and actually were running down the guy with the ball because Varma was just holding off as long as he could to get more help. And they did not score on that. That was a field goal they missed, and that was probably the difference in the game because we came back and scored, and we're up 2 possessions and won the game.
Mark, do you feel like this year's team should have or maybe could have won 7 or 8 games or more? I mean, did you have the talent and opportunity for that?
Yeah, this team could have won 8 games. Yes, most definitely. If I thought of that too as I'm watching them play right now. We're playing with a lot more confidence right now. You can see each week that we play, it's more like the beginning of the season where you just get better and better, and your players are starting to respond a little bit better. I saw it yesterday, even at the film session. It's more of a mid-season mode right now. So I think that has something to do with, again, playing with the same guys that have been on the field together for a while now. And then, you know, the success. This is usually where you're at, going into an open date, if you will, and then getting ready for your second half of the season. So we're just getting ready for the last game right now. And so I'm pleased with how they're playing. It's just that we didn't get to this point at an early enough stage.
Mark, what's going on with Missouri State? They've won 3 out of 4 after an 0-6 start.
Yeah, well, you look at their schedule. They played Kansas State and Louisville, and between the two of them, they only lost once. And then they had a similar situation. It's hard to come out of that after experiencing it. It's very hard to come out of those 2 games with any kind of momentum. And then they did catch momentum, and they almost beat North Dakota State in the fourth game. That would have been their fourth in a row. So they went on a 3-game run, barely got beat by North Dakota State, and now they have this week off. So they're playing very similar, playing a lot more confident. I think the players are ahead of what they were last year. There's more talent on the field for them. And I go back. It's probably for the same reasons. It's hard to catch momentum, and get things going. But he did have it going when he had those 3 wins, because they won tight games, and they were making big plays at big times.
With the players that are coming back, do you go over this season with them and say, if we had made another play here, another play there, for instance, South Wisconsin on a 3rd and 22, do you just talk about making plays on a consistent basis?
Yeah. Oh, you'll always go back and you remember the plays that got you beat more than the ones that you won the game with. And in this particular case, what this team will be referenced to as we talk to next year's team is, like you said, the 4th and 22 at Wisconsin. There was a couple plays at Iowa, but more importantly was the Youngstown game and the North Dakota State game. Those 2 games, we had our chances. I think we had 3 or 4 chances at Youngstown. There was 2 4th downs that I remember at Youngstown in the 3rd and long, that if we win any one of them, we probably seal that game up. And then North Dakota State, we muffed the punt before half, which kind of gave them a 2-possession lead. So we can go back to the errors that get you beat. And I've always referenced our football. I've tried to make our football team a little bit in a semblance of the way K-State wins. And I've just been watching that now. They got the #1 in the country. And they're #1 because they don't beat themselves. And that's what you have to do when you're at UNI. I mean, we're a Midwest team, and you cannot beat yourself. You're not going to win going away all the time. You're going to have tight football games that you got to line up, make the plays, and in the 4th quarter, win the close games by sealing the game and not giving up a 3rd and long or a 4th and short. And big thing about this football team on the South Dakota game, we won the 4th and short. So that's kind of what put that game away, and blocking the field goal, things like that. That's how you win at UNI. That's how you win in the Midwest, in my opinion. And then you can stand up and get to the national level, and then see what happens when you get to those games. So we'll go into the discipline of the game, the detail of the game, and that's what we didn't achieve for whatever reason, whether it be a turnover or a 3rd down conversion, that let some of those games get away.
Mark, how did it turn out, you think, having Jake on the team, having your own kid on the team, and how do you think he played and performed this year?
He did, he did well. He got better as the season went on. I was pleased with how he came around as the season progressed. Much like anybody, he came August 1st, so he's really only been here 3 months now, or whatever it's been. So, the expectations are that he just needs to learn the defense just like everybody does, and then find a way to contribute. And I thought as the season progressed, he adapted, and he got better as the season went on. So, he's a sophomore, so see what happens.
How about Garrett Scott, one of the seniors who played last game? Can you summarize his career and how have you seen him improve from start to finish?
Well, here's the deal on Garrett. I thought Garrett at the beginning of his career was a solid football player, but where he really gained the difference that he made on our football team was his ability to lead the secondary. And I think when he was on the field for us, particularly his last 2 seasons, he helped the surrounding secondary players really play well, because he could make adjustments where they could take the thought out of it from, or get them so they could just go play within our system. And I think when we lost that this year for those couple games, you put another thought process in a young player's mind, and it kind of hesitates him a little bit. So his leadership ability and his savviness of play is what I'll remember about Garrett Scott. He's such a savvy player and a very good player, but his savviness, really pushed him into the player that you'll remember as one of your better players that you've ever had at that position.
What about Wilmont? He's moved a couple different times, position. He's leading with tackles now. He seems to be a player that relishes contact as much as anybody. What has he meant to this program?
You know what, Wilmont is probably he's probably the best story you could write from start to finish. If you look at what he did in the state, from Fairfield High School to Iowa Central to UNI, and he's been moved around so much. And if you speak to Wilmont today, he's probably one of the most happy people you'll meet, and he's always looking at things in such a positive manner. And he got moved. He played safety in those first games against Wisconsin and Iowa. Had a lot of tackles, 15 tackles a game, I think. Season progressed, and he ends up getting moved to a nickel position. Some people call it a linebacker. And you know, in the last 3 games, he's done very well. I wish I would have had him there at the first game of the season. But the way he's adapted without controversy is what makes him the person he is, and what makes him the player is he always plays so hard. I mean, he's actually playing harder now just because he knows he's going down the stretch of those last few snaps. He is just put your eye on him once in a while. He is flying to the ball sideline to sideline, even more so than he was at the beginning, because he knows he's going down to his last few snaps of playing football. So, awesome story. Garrett's an awesome story. Varma and JJ, I mean, those are the 4 that are connected. And Varma's just been an extremely great player for us. He's left some memories here of some of the plays that he's made. And then JJ's been a 3-year starter as well. So those 4 are all connected somehow, some way. But you got to feel a little something special for Wilmont because of everything he's overcame, and to have the attitude that he has towards life and towards opportunity is what it's all about.
This is obviously a spot you guys are in as a program right off where you know exactly when your last game is going to be, because without the postseason. Has there been a difference in some of the seniors that they know exactly that this is going to be their last one?
Yeah, we talked about that probably 3 weeks ago when we were out of it. You know, and that's, you know, if you watch us play, everybody was saying how they're going to play, how they're going to practice. And, you know, when you look at it from the standpoint of you're down to your last snaps, and you know it. And so it's how you respond to that. And this group is really responding to the fact that we play the game because we love the game. And we all try to win the game, but you play it because you love it. There's just too much work to go with it just for Saturdays. So I tell you what, they're really playing hard, going down the stretch, even the 4th quarter, just because I know their minds are saying the same thing. They're going down their last few snaps as well. Anybody else?
Coach, this is Bear Week, but you know that used to be one of the huge games on the schedule when we played Missouri State. I think you went through that as a player, assistant coach. Even with Terry Allen there, has that kind of lost a little bit of its luster, that Bear Week deal with UNI Missouri State?
Well, I don't want to say it's lost its luster. I just don't hang my hat on Bear Week, because my whole thing was just we're trying to treat everybody from South Dakota to North Dakota State and everywhere in between as equals. But you know, there's always, as a player, it was Bear Week because it was always for the conference championship. So maybe as a coach, I haven't used that as much, but internally it's still Bear Week because that's how I grew up. And I think that's how you grew up, and a lot of people in this room, that was a huge football game. And so yeah, we know it, but I don't think our players know it as much. What they know it as is, like you said, it's their last go round for some of them, and you know, they'll play their tails off, and it happens to be against Missouri State. Anybody else? Thanks.